Hi, my name is Leila Latif, and I'm from the University of Nairobi, where I lecture on international tax law. We had the convening today at the National Taxpayers Association, and I was joined by Josephine as well, where we talked about the potential of introducing a form of wealth tax in Kenya. Now, there are a lot of conversations at the global level in terms of beginning to think about taxing wealth. And the conversations we were having during our convening here in Nairobi is that how do we understand wealth? How do we conceptualize it? How do we understand who a high net worth individual actually is? And how do we get to identify those assets that are going to basically form the tax base of what the wealth tax is going to be looking into? So the report that has been produced for the National Taxpayers Association documents great data, documents a number of country examples where wealth tax has been adopted, and some countries that are looking towards adopting a wealth tax. So with the comparative analysis, we began the conversations around what does this mean for Kenya? Is Kenya ready to introduce a wealth tax? And we began by having conversations around the pros and cons of introducing wealth taxation in Kenya and the challenges that we're going to be facing. But we also came up with a very sound proposal that this is not something that is not doable. As one of the participants basically said, it is a theme that is full of landmines, and we have to be able to navigate it sensibly. So the report, please read it. It's online. It contains a lot of data that gives us information about suggested approaches that Kenya can think about in taxing wealth. And this is one of the participants who was with me, Josephine, and I just want to ask you, Josephine, what were your key learnings from this particular convening we had today on taxing wealth in Kenya?
Okay, my name is Josephine Mugure from KRA. I'm in taxing policy and tax advisory. And my key learnings were, first, I observed that the report is very balanced. It points out where there would be difficulties. It acknowledges that this is not an easy thing to do. And I like that you're open to our suggestions, that you wanted to hear from the different players, the government officers who are here. I like that it's, like you said, making us to begin to think about wealth taxation. What is wealth for our purposes? Are we just going to borrow what is in the European market and bring it there? That report, and even in your talking, you cautioned, no, that's what we're doing. We want to look at what is Kenya, what do we define wealth, and how do we go about it. I like that we appreciate that it will not be an easy journey, but that it's doable, and that we are sitting and thinking, can we do it, or are we not ready for it yet? So I like that it was open. It is not a pipe that you're pushing us into. You're inviting us to think with you and open to whatever conclusion we arrive at. I like that you took the views of the people. I liked your research. It's well done. You're well informed in that area. So it was really good to have you leading the discussions. And it's been a really enjoyable day. I have learned a lot and I've enjoyed myself.
So do you think there's potential of introducing wealth tax in Kenya in the near future, probably?
I wouldn't commit to saying yes or no, but what I think it's something worth thinking.
Absolutely.
It's something worth thinking. But also, as we introduce the wealth tax, then we also have to see what is the contribution of these wealth people into the society without breaking their hearts, without cutting their legs, but showing them why they need to contribute should we come to that. And also, considering that Kenya is not an island, we operate in an environment where we have other players, then if this is the way the world is going, we need to be aware, but also to do something that is domestic solution. I really like that, domestic solution.
Absolutely. I think that's the best takeaway I can get from Josephine myself, that if we're going to be thinking about whether Kenya wants to get into the same league of countries that have introduced the wealth tax, then we've got to do it from our lived realities, looking at our own socioeconomic phenomena, and then decide for ourselves what works best. Thank you very much. Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you, Donkey.